hey, we definitely got to talk about this. Hulk Hogan may be making his return to the WWE after a long hiatus. It's been quite some time.
It's been what, 3 years?
Yeah,
Two
it
or
might,
three?
It might be maybe 3 years, maybe
Yeah.
maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
But Hulk Hogan, made a inflammatory comment. Of course, everybody heard it. It was the N word.
Yes.
And one thing about it, that I got to talk about it because my Twitter been blowing up. You know what I mean? It's been like a phone ringing off the hook. You know what I mean? So I got to weigh in on this. And I've weighed in on it before, but I want to do it here live tonight. Heated Conversation, Sports Radio 610. What time is it right now? 5:52.
5:22.
Excuse me, 5:22 Central Time. We got to discuss it. Question is, Booker, do you think Hulk should be let back into the WWE? My thing is this. We've heard this word used for many years. God rest Martin Luther King's soul. A man who, did his best to bring us up as a people. And like I said, I've heard that word used many times. And I've heard it on some of our popular radio stations, on a weekly basis. Sometimes they don't even bleep it out. It just, rolls right through it. I was talking to one of the police officers in Galveston. He says the word is a universal. Not only the black kids use it in the school, but the white kids, the Mexican kids, the Asian kids, they all, call themselves the N-word. It's become popular. And
a lot of that has to do, I think, with the popularity of hip-hop and the culture and it being a prevalent word, I think, in the culture as well, don't you think?
No. I think it's because we call ourselves that all the time.
Or maybe that.
I think that's the biggest problem. I think until we can stop saying the word ourselves, we shouldn't have a problem with anyone else using that term. And that's just my opinion. I know a lot of people, going to say, that ain't the way it is, but that's the way it is with me. I'm 53 years old. I got a wrestling school, and I got about, 50 students, and maybe a couple of them are black, but most of them are white or Hispanic or whatever. But we don't use that word. None of my students have ever heard me use that word other than the infamous time on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I said it on national television. I thought I was going to get fired. I thought I was going to lose my job. I thought, the world was going to come to an end as far as Booker T knew it. But the world went on. I apologize to all of my, young black African-American kids that looked up to me and still look up to me. And a lot of them, it's nothing to them, but I say, hey, it is something to me because I would have never wanted you to hear me use that word ever, and they did. But only thing I could do is apologize and we move forward. The only thing Hogan can do is apologize, atone for it, and we move forward. Everyone deserves a second chance. That's just the way I am. I talk about, Hulk Hogan being in my corner, back in the day. And a lot of people, a lot of the boys, they may look at me and say, man, what is Booker T talking? Back in the day, if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, I don't know if Booker T and Stevie Ray would have got the push that we got. You know what I mean? Back in the day, Sister Sherry was an intricate, detail. She was an intricate part of Harlem Heat and our success. And it was all because of Hulk Hogan saying, hey, man, those are the guys you need to put your money behind. Now, I don't know if Hulk Hogan made some money off that deal or not.
Well, he was infamous for being a politician.
He was a politician, but my brother and I, we became Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? And a lot of it was due to that man saying, hey, give these guys the go-ahead, because of that guy giving us the nod. So I'm taking that word and I'm going to, put it over to the side and I'm going to let that man, get take his rightful place back, which is in this business. I'm not going to take that away from him. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, he should be blackballed, blacklisted from the game forevermore for saying something that a lot of us say on a daily basis. I don't myself, but a lot of us do. So I say, let this man who has done so much for the wrestling business truly take his rightful place, and that's back in the WWE.
Do you think he though needs to do anything more than he has?
What else?
Let me just play devil's advocate. There's a lot of people who said that he hasn't done enough to earn that spot back. And I think one of the guys who said it was Mark Henry. Mark Henry said that he needs to go, and I'm paraphrasing here, up to a lot of the African-American talent in the locker room and explain to it, shake their hand, look them in the eye, and apologize. Do you think there's anything that he needs to do further than he hasn't already?
I'm not offering this. Just what are we saying? Give him some community service.
I'm not saying community service. I'm saying, when it first happened.
In a sense, that's what you're saying. He needs to do more community service to atone his wrong.
But do you remember when it first happened? Yeah. And I think this is on public record. You called Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Or you had him call you, one of the two.
I called him.
And y'all discussed a lot of things, and the word was one of them. And you even suggested, how about we go around and we talk about the harm this word does to a lot of communities, especially obviously the African American community, and let's work on eradicating this word from the English language. I mean, that was something that you wanted to do.
I reached out and I did want to do that, but I'm gonna tell you, in a situation like that, man, it's like what's going on with Trump and Giuliani. You keep your mouth shut, man. You want to keep your mouth shut. And with this thing right here, when it first came out and I reached out, it's something that perhaps he wanted to do, but maybe his lawyer said, "No, let's not do that right now. Let's just lay low and try to let this
see if it'll blow over.
Let's see if this thing will blow over." And me personally, I understand that. I'm not going to throw him under the bus or anything for not taking my offer and let's go. Hey, the offer is still there. You know what I mean? It's not too late. You know what I mean? If Hulk Hogan comes back to WWE and be an ambassador, I'm sure there's something that him and I can do. Take on the road and talk to some young kids and tell them the damage that something like this can cause in one's life, and especially in one's career at the same time. So as far as I'm concerned, let him in. Let him in. I can't remember what movie I saw that of, but it was from some movie. But what do you think, man? Seriously.
I don't know. I'm a school of two thoughts on this. I think that if the powers that be and a lot of people who work with him, I mean, as like you would be working with Hulk Hogan, at WWE, if people feel comfortable with him coming back and if the public's ready for it, then that's fine. I just think that I've just read a lot from people who still are with WWE, and Mark Henry, chief among them, who say Mark Henry says this. Can I just quote him on this? Because I found his exact quote. Yeah. He says, "I'm the sitting chair of the delegation and they are not ready. I've had many talks with dozens of guys, and the consensus is that there are a lot of work to be done to heal that wound and fix that wall." Henry was asked to explain what the delegation is. He said the delegation is pretty much all the established African-American wrestlers in the country. So he says that he's the chair of the delegation, and the delegation isn't ready.
I heard about this group.
About the delegation?
Yeah. And, my thing is this, man. That's like having a union. When guys like that start to call shots saying this person should and should not be. It's guys back in the company right now like a Shelton Benjamin. Did Shelton Benjamin do anything to be outed from the company? No. But did they let him back? Yeah. Do they do that for all? No. Some
of the guys who've earned I think a guy was like Warrior, the late great Ultimate Warrior. There's a lot of bad blood there.
It was a huge.
He said a lot of things that weren't great.
Not too many people to this day have a whole lot of great things to say about the Ultimate Warrior, but they let him back in because it's not about black and white in this issue right now at this point in time. I really don't think so. That word, me personally, I'm like this here. You a white guy.
Yeah.
I'm a black guy.
That's right.
You got a daughter. You know what I mean? And I got a son. You know what I mean? I'm just
hypothetically. I'm not out here
hypothetically
like
speaking.
Yeah.
And my son end up dating your daughter, and they come home. I might get a wide eye for a second. Whoa, son, you know what I mean? You going there, huh? You know what I mean? Okay, booyah. But it might be it's no malice intent or anything like that. As far as me not liking the girl, me not wanting my son to be with her. Would I want my son to be with an African American little girl? Perhaps, but that's wait a minute. That's called human nature. When people deal from a human nature's perspective, they might do or say anything. When it's got something to do with your family, you might do or say, especially if you've been drinking. If you've been drinking, you might do anything.
So you're saying because the comments were made about his daughter and someone that she was dating,
which was the African American young man,
which was a black guy,
and everybody know about black men. You know what I mean? They got big hands and they got big feet. So Hulk, first thing come to his mind, this kid's got some big hands. This kid's got some big feet.
I'm not even going to start this with you. But you're saying you're making everyone laugh in the studio right now. But you're saying though to get back into the serious part of the discussion is you're saying that Hogan isn't necessarily racist. You're saying that he made a comment in a isolated situation dealing with his daughter that he may not have said any other time, but he was a little bit inebriated. You're not excusing it.
An isolated incident where a man was taping it unbeknownst to you. That right there, first and foremost. Should he have said it? No. You know what I mean? But how it got out there because someone was trying to make some money at Hulk Hogan's expense. You know what I mean? Obviously, I wouldn't say he was, coerced or anything like that. But for someone to be taping it and him to have said it at that inopportune time, come on now. Come on, listen here, Manny. Come on, Manny. Listen here. I'm just trying to reach you,
real
man.
quick. I have one cool last question for you before we go to break. If you go into work soon to go to a pay-per-view, and you're walking into catering and you see Hulk Hogan sitting at the table, he stands up and says, "Hey, Book," what do you say?
I'm gonna go give him I'm gonna hug him. I'm gonna say, "Hey, man, what's going on, man? I'm glad you're back." That's what I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? Because when Hulk Hogan, when they ask Hulk Hogan, when your Booker T call you the N-word, Hulk Hogan say, "I'm a good N-word." Hey, just